40 Acres eats it, and that is a cannibal dad joke. Welcome back to Glenn Hates Everything. I'm Glenn, and I apparently hate everything. I like to do these videos in one unbroken take, keeping all the ums and the ers in there so that it's real, so that it's something new and refreshing in this world of over-edited, over-hyped videos. So I hope you enjoy it in all its messiness. I even brought notes today. I find it a lot easier. So forgive me, but I'm going to read from my notes as I talk about 40 Acres. It is the directorial debut of R.T. Thorne, who has previously directed music videos. He's a Canadian filmmaker who I think is one to watch. This is a very assured debut. It is a action thriller. I thought I was going into a zombie movie, but that wasn't the case. And it's got a lot on its mind. This is a film about generational trauma. It's about slavery reparations, the 40 acres and a mule promise made to formerly enslaved people, which never came to pass. And it is about the oppression of the Black community, the indigenous community, and how they come together to fight this oppression. It's also about not having enough food to eat and what those consequences are. The film starts out with a crawl that says that 15 years ago, a parasite destroyed the animals on Earth. And then a little bit later, there was a civil war, and that the only people who were able to survive were people who could farm their own food. Everybody else has kind of been forced to become cannibals. And so we hone in on the Freeman farm, and its matriarch is played by Danielle Deadwyler, who plays Haley Freeman. She's ex-military, and they're up in Canada on this farm that she inherited, and that her ancestors came from slavery, so she knows the importance of owning land, and she protects it with her brood with incredible fierceness. This is a house stocked with knives and assault rifles, and there's an electric fence surrounding their property. And at the beginning, in a killer opening sequence, literally a killer, we see some intruders who are trying to get on their land, and we see the process that the Freeman family has to fight back. And it's stunning. This film is shot so well. The DP is, I'm not familiar with his work, but Jeremy Benning just has this beautiful sense of flow to the shots and uses a lot of out of focus, rack focus foreground. There's shots of Danielle Deadwyler in the cornfields, for example, where you just see a little bit of corn in front of her out of focus, or when she and her husband, who is played by Michael Grey Eyes, who plays Galen, they're sitting on a porch, and you see the supports of the swing foregrounding them, and it just kind of gives you this sort of off-kilter feel, which is baked into the story, because this is a movie filled with dread and fear and intense action. They have a son. They have a bunch of kids, some from previous marriages and 2 from their current marriage. And the main son is Manny. He's played by Katim O'Connor, who's fantastic. And he is a bit of a rebel in the family, and he doesn't want to just live in this protected world. He wants to get out there, make friends. It's very natural. But Haley, Danielle Deadwyler's character, is so fierce about, no, we only rely on each other. This is what we got to survive, and it's worked so far, and it's going to work. So no strangers, nobody. So, of course, we're going to meet a stranger that he wants to invite into this brood. And that is Dawn, played by Milkania Diaz-Rojas, who we're not sure whether we can trust her or not. She comes to their fence injured and makes her way in, and Manny hides the fact that he's housing her in the barn from his family because he knows they'll probably kill her. So this film eventually becomes about these cannibals who want to take over, and I'm not going to spoil anything more from there except to say these are some electrifying action sequences. There's one in particular, and you'll know it when you see it, that happens completely in the dark for the most part, yet has these brilliant flashes of genius in it. And I was stunned watching this sequence. it just excited me, saying this is a filmmaker who knows what he's doing. The editor on this film really keeps things moving. Even though they're flashbacks, there's such a forward momentum to this story, even in quiet moments, because you just feel the burden of protecting one's family in every frame of this. These are really intense, layered characters who, even with Danielle Deadwyler, as fierce as she is and what a death stare she has, she still has moments of levity where you see that humor. We see that in particular with a friend named Augusta Taylor, who lives in a neighboring farm with her family. And the two of them go way back. And then more recent years, they've only communicated on CB radio. And these two tough women have such an amazing rapport that you root for them. You want their story to succeed more than anyone else's in the film. Even though the family is fantastic, Michael Greyeyes brings a lot of charm and spirit to his role as well. It's very rootable. You also have a composer whose work I'm not familiar with named Todor Kobakov, who has this really heartbeat propulsive score. It's almost continuous throughout the film, and yet it brings such an energy to it. I love this film, and I was so surprised because I was kind of dreading seeing it. I just thought it was another zombie movie like The Walking Dead, call it The Walking Dread, right? But that's not the case. This is a film about history and about understanding the importance of family banding together to survive, and yet finding the grace to open themselves up to others as well. I can't recommend this enough. For those of you who don't have a taste for gore, you might want to sit this one out. It's pretty gory, pretty intense. It sneaks up on you with some of its more violent moments, so keep that in mind. Danielle Deadwyler, though, I've been watching for quite a while now, and her rise is stunning. She was just recently on The Bear and killed it. She is great in The Piano Lesson. Until she is just somebody whose work I'm going to treasure watching for the rest of her career. If this is any indication of how she can take this genre film, along with the filmmaker and the writers Glenn Taylor and Laura Campbell, and elevate it to something that's really important about how we live our lives, how we look at our lives. That couldn't be more current as we descend into what I fear is tribalism in this country and isolationism in this country. And so this one offers you a different look at that and how to move past it. So check it out. And I guess I don't hate everything. What am I going to call this channel? Glenn Loves Everything? Well, in the meantime, later, haters.